The Celtics are rolling right now. They're ranked third in the league in total threes, made with 538. That's not just high volume shooting, that's serious consistency from deep, and it gets even better. They're sitting at number 1 in the league for pull-up points per game at 32.6. That means they're creating and hitting shots off the dribble better than anyone else out there. Catch and shoot numbers, still up there, 5th in the league, dropping 36.1 points per game just on catch and shoot looks. That kind of shooting profile puts a ton of pressure on opposing defenses, and they've been capitalizing on it all season long. When it comes to attacking the rim, they're getting it done with precision. They're second in the league in field goal percentage on drives at 54.1%. So it's not just about launching threes. When they get into the paint, they're converting at an elite rate. Now check this out. 40.3% of their total points come from beyond the arc. That puts them second in the league in that category. And it doesn't stop there. Only 9.3% of their points come from mid-range, which is the second lowest percentage in the league. They fully leaned into the modern style, spreading the floor, shooting threes, and attacking the rim. Efficiency-wise, they're monsters. Their offensive rating is second in the league at 122.3. That's production on a massive scale. Combine that with a net rating of plus 7.8, ranked third, and it's clear this isn't just empty scoring. It's dominance across the board. Second chance points, they're making those count too. Ranked 4th with 17.2 per game. That's hustle, positioning, and capitalizing on every loose ball. And their bench, quietly one of the best in the league. The bench unit has a net rating of plus 7.8, also ranked 3rd. That's a huge deal when the starters sit. They're not just holding the lead, they're extending it. All of this data paints the same picture. Elite 3-point volume, best in the league pull-up scoring, elite offensive efficiency, and a bench that doesn't fall off. They've built their whole offensive identity around spacing the floor and maximizing every possession. They're not wasting time with inefficient shots. They're forcing defenses to scramble, stretch, and rotate until something breaks. Whether it's a drive, a kick out, or a catch and shoot bomb, they're finding the cracks and making teams pay. And with those mid-range numbers basically vanishing from their shot chart, it shows just how committed they are to high-value scoring zone. They're living at the rim and behind the arc, and they've been surgical with it all season. No gimmicks, just numbers. And the numbers are brutal. But when talking about Boston, we gotta start with Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's been on a mission, and the numbers say it all. With Jason Tatum sidelined, Brown stepped up in a way that most players simply don't. He's averaging 30.1 points per game, which puts him ahead of more than 99% of players across the league. That's not just solid, that's elite. And it's not just volume either. He's doing it with efficiency that stacks up against the best. His effective field goal percentage sits at 55.9%. That means he's not just getting buckets. He's making smart, high-value shots. It accounts for his mix of 2-pointers and threes, and Brown's blend has been smooth. He's hitting 8.92 pointers per game and adding 2.1 threes to that. Out of 21.7 total field goal attempts, that's a strong conversion rate. Then there's his true shooting percentage, clocking in at 59.9%. That includes free throws, and Brown's taking 7.5 of those per game. So when he's attacking the basket, he's drawing contact, getting to the line, and finishing plays. That scoring efficiency puts him ahead of over 76% of players. He's putting up 1.2 points per scoring attempt. That number doesn't lie. It's not padded by garbage time stats or forced shots. It's steady, efficient production, possession after possession. And look at the usage, 36.2%. That means over a third of all offensive possessions while he's on the court are ending with him either taking a shot, getting fouled, dishing out an assist, or turning it over. That's a massive load, and he's handling it better than 99% of players. Now let's talk about his offensive rating. At 122.8, Brown's been one of the league's most effective offensive players when he's on the floor. Defensively, he's holding his own with a defensive rating of 118.4. And when you put it all together, that's a net rating of plus 4.4. It shows he's giving his team a clear edge every time he's out there. That net impact shows up in the on-off numbers too. When he's on the court, the team's scoring output improves by a full point compared to when he's off. That's a difference that only the top 13% of players can say they're making. Brown's ball handling metrics also rank near the top. He's sitting at 87% on the BH rating, which puts him in the upper echelon of guards and wings in terms of how well he controls the ball and makes plays. He's averaging 5 assists per game with an assist rate of 24.73%. That's the percentage of teammate field goals he's directly assisting when he's on the court. Even if it's not the highest in the league, it's still ahead of more than 86% of players, which shows he's not just a scorer, he's creating offense for others. Now sure, he's averaging 3.6 turnovers per game, but the turnover percentage tells a different story. At just 12.61%, that means out of every 100 plays, he's ending with a shot, an assist, or a turnover. Only 12 end in giveaways. For a player with a usage rate as high as his, that's remarkably low. Brown's playing nearly 70 possessions per game and taking 21.7 shots, getting to the line 7.5 times and making 5 assists. That's 25.1 scoring attempts per game. He's putting in real work every single time he's on the floor, and the workload's not slowing him down. He's producing more than 63% of players in total points. But he's not just jacking up shots to get there. He's efficient, effective, and getting his teammates involved without letting the turnover spiral. Games with a positive plus-minus, 53.1%. That means in over half of the games he's played, the team's ended up in the positive when he's been on the court. That's no accident. He's driving winning impact every night. The assist-to-turnover ratio could look better if you're just skimming, but when you factor in the context, his usage rate, the scoring volume, the minutes, the shot creation, it makes more sense. He's not just some secondary option being asked to pitch in. He's the engine, the initiator, the finisher, and sometimes the bailout plan when possessions break down. And he's doing it better than almost anyone. Compared to the rest of the league, he's ahead of 86% of players in playmaking metric, 87% in ball handling, 76% in scoring efficiency, and 99% in scoring volume. Those aren't random stats. They're a full-on profile of a player who's elevated his game. When the teams needed someone to step into the spotlight, Brown hasn't just filled in, he's dominated. He's become the central offensive figure, handling pressure, delivering buckets, and still managing to make the right passes. And it's not like his game's become one-dimensional. Even while taking on more scoring responsibility, he stayed engaged defensively. That 118.4 defensive rating isn't top tier, but considering the usage load and matchup responsibilities, it's still solid. He's balancing volume, efficiency, and playmaking like a seasoned star. Most players can't handle that kind of usage without seeing their percentages dip, their turnover spike, or their impact drop off. Brown's done the opposite. He's become the kind of player that lifts the team's offense without dragging down the defense, the kind that can be the first option without losing control. In terms of pure numbers, this stretch without Tatum has been the biggest showcase of Brown's evolution. He's no longer just the number 2 guy, the co-star, the secondary scorer. He's proven that he can run the show, and the data keeps backing that up, whether it's the effective field goal percentage, the true shooting, the usage, the net rating, the assist metrics, or the on-off impact. It all points in the same direction. Jaylen Brown's not just filling a role, he's owning the floor. But before we continue talking, I've got to say something really quick. If you're still using a sports book, you probably aren't getting the best bang for your buck. And the thing is, Polymarket just ended the scam. Let me show you what I mean. This is live in the app. This is a bet I liked from the other night. Polymarket has Cleveland at 81% to win. That means Denver's sitting at just 23%. I'm trading on the Nuggets. Why? Because Jamal Murray is great. And if Denver pulls this off, that 23% becomes a 4.3 times payout. $10 becomes 43. And here's the kicker. If Denver takes a lead and that percentage jumps to 50 or 60%, I can trade out instantly and lock in the win. Try doing that with the sportsbook. You can't. They'll freeze the cash out button like your money's in jail. And don't get me started on fees. They'll charge $9 on 100 win. Polymarket, literally 1 cent. That's not a discount. That's a revolution. It's legal in all 50 states. And right now, they're giving you $10 free just for signing up. No deposit, no card. Just use my link below and code ModernJam for early access. And you're free $10. Welcome to the future. Polymarket. But then I want to talk about Derrick White. Derrick White's season has been all about balance, efficiency, and smart play. He's averaging 18.7 points per game, which puts him ahead of nearly a third of the league in scoring. But this isn't about raw numbers. It's about how much he's doing with what he gets. His effective field goal percentage sits at 50.6%. That's factoring in the value of 3s versus 2s, and it shows he's getting quality shots off. He's knocking down 3.3 threes per game and 3.1 2s, all on just 15.8 field goal attempts. That's a near even split between long range and close range scoring, and it means defenses can't key in on just one part of his game. Then there's the true shooting percentage, which includes free throws. he's at 54.6%, a number that puts him ahead of more than 97% of players when you factor in his scoring efficiency per attempt. He's scoring 1.1 points for every scoring attempt. For someone taking 15.8 shots and 3.1 free throws per game, that's elite level efficiency. White's offensive rating is 122.7, which means the team's offense is operating at a top tier level when he's on the floor. He's not just a background player, he's actively making things click. And when you flip to the defense, he's got a rating of 113.9. That's already solid, but when you combine both sides, his net rating is plus 8.8. That's a big time impact. He's giving the team nearly 9 more points per 100 possessions than they'd get otherwise. That net rating puts him ahead of more than 88% of players in the league. And when he's on the floor, the difference is clear. The team's point differential when he plays versus when he sits is plus 5.2. That's a bigger on-off impact than 92% of players across the league. Now look at his ball handling. His BH score ranks him in the 92nd percentile. He's clearly trusted with the ball, and he's earned it. White averages 5.3 assists per game with only 1.9 turnovers. That's sharp, measured, and under control. His assist percentage is 21.83%. So while he's scoring close to 20 points per game, he's also assisting over 1/5 of his teammates' made shots when he's on the floor. That's strong playmaking from the guard spot. And despite the ball in his hands constantly, he's only turning it over on 10.05% of his actions. That's better than 81% of players. He's not forcing things, and he's not giving possessions away. Even if his total points assisted per game is 13, which is less than 2/3 of players, that number doesn't tell the whole story. It's the efficiency that matters. He's assisting and scoring with fewer wasted touches, fewer mistakes, and more consistency. Now the defense, that's where things get even better. He's putting up 1.4 steals and 1.5 blocks per game. Those are massive defensive stats, especially for a guard. Add in 3.6 defensive rebound, and he's giving the team extra possessions on a nightly basis. That kind of stat line puts him in the 84th percentile in terms of overall defensive impact. He's not just helping the team's defense, he's actively stopping plays, forcing turnovers, and making big-time stops. His mixed team defense ranking, which looks at individual defense plus how much he helps the team defensively, places him ahead of 88% of the league. That's a rare combo, someone who can anchor possessions on both sides of the ball. His usage rate is 24.3%. That means almost a quarter of the team's possessions end with him either shooting, passing for a shot, getting to the line, or turning it over. He's involved, but not overused. And when he's involved, good things happen. He's playing nearly 68 possessions per game and taking 15.8 shots, adding in 3.1 free throws, 5.3 assists, and under 2 turnovers. That's 17.1 total scoring attempts per game, putting him ahead of 88% of players in terms of workload and impact. His games, with a positive plus minus, sit at 63.6%. So in nearly 2 out of every 3 games, the team's winning the minutes with White on the court. That's a direct reflection of what he brings. He's not just a shooter, not just a passer, not just a defender, he's all of it. His stats are spread across the board, and he's near the top in almost every category that matters for guards. What makes this even more impressive is how balanced the production is. He's not dominating the ball, and he's not playing a one-dimensional role. Every number points to versatility. 3.3 threes per game show the range, 1.5 blocks per game show the rim protection, 5.3 assists show the playmaking, plus 5.2 on-off. Impact shows that he's affecting the game when it matters. There's nothing flashy about these numbers, but the efficiency's unreal. Every possession, he's doing exactly what the team needs, whether it's setting up the offense, knocking down a shot, locking up the other team's guard, or rotating to protect the rim. He's playing smarter, not harder. Every shot has value. Every pass has purpose. And every defensive play shifts momentum. Derrick White's stats this season are the blueprint for winning basketball. Controlled usage, efficient scoring, high-level defense, low turnovers, and strong plus-minus numbers. It all adds up to a player who's been one of the most valuable on the floor, even without putting up huge headline numbers. This isn't a role player punching above his weight. This is a two-way guard, playing well above league averages in just about every category that mattered. And he's doing it while giving his team a near 9-point edge per 100 possessions. He's not taking bad shots, not forcing passes, and not giving opponents any space on defense. The numbers show a player that does all the little things and a few big things better than nearly everyone else. In a league full of high usage, high turnover players, Derrick White stands out for all the right reasons. Every action's efficient, every game counts, and the impact's impossible to ignore. But then we got to talk about Pritchard. Payton Pritchard's season has been a masterclass in efficiency and control. He's averaging 16.8 points per game, and while that puts him just above half the league in scoring, it's how he's doing it that makes the numbers stand out. His effective field goal percentage is sitting at 53.9%. That's not just decent, it's calculated, smart offense. He's getting there with a mix of 3.6 two-pointers and 2.6 threes per game, all off just 13.9 field goal attempts. That puts him at 1.1 points per field goal made, a sign of a player who doesn't waste possessions. He's balancing volume and quality better than most, and the true shooting percentage backs it up. He's at 56.1%, which includes free throws, and that's ahead of more than 86% of players. He's taking 2.1 free throws per game. Not a huge number, but when you're already shooting efficiently from the field, adding a few more points at the line just stacks onto the impact. The scoring attempts per game, including shots and free throws, hit 14.9. That's still ahead of over 73% of players in the league. Pritchard's offensive rating is an impressive 123.6. That number shows how effective the team is when he's running the show. Every possession with him on the floor is translating into high-level offensive production. Flip to the defense, and he's at 117.9. It's not lockdown numbers, but it's not tanking the team either. The net rating tells the story, plus 5.7. That's ahead of most players in the league and shows that his minutes are a net positive every single night. More than 58% of his games end with a positive plus-minus. That's a big deal, especially for a guard or coming off the bench or filling secondary roles. He's giving the team winning minutes, and the on-off number drives it home. When he's on the floor, the team's point differential jumps by plus 1.8. That's better than 94% of players in the league. His ball handling numbers are no joke either. Ranked in the 94th percentile for ball control, he's been one of the most secure and smart handlers on the court. That shows in the turnover numbers, only 1.2 per game. But more importantly, his turnover percentage is a microscopic 7.64%. Out of every 100 plays, he finishes with either a shot, pass, or turnover. Fewer than 8 are giveaways. And it's not like he's just out there playing safe. His usage rate is 21%. That means more than 1 out of every 5 possessions he plays ends with him doing something to finish the play. Whether it's a shot, a pass, or getting fouled, he's in the middle of the action. He's also creating offense for his teammates. Pritchard's averaging 5.3 assists per game, and his assist rate is 22.14%. So nearly a quarter of his teammates made buckets while he's on the court are coming off his passes. That's strong playmaking, and it's coming with very few turnovers. He's assisting 13.2 points per game, which is a higher total than 84% of players. That means he's not just moving the ball, he's actively creating points, keeping the offense flowing, and staying in control. Defensively, the metrics hold up. He's not leading the league in steals or blocks, but he's contributing enough on that end to keep things balanced. His defensive rating, again, isn't elite, but with the offense he's producing, he's more than holding his own. He's playing over 66 possessions per game, and every single one feels like it counts. Whether it's a quick pass to set up a three, a clean pick and roll to find an open cutter, or hitting a spot-up jumper, he's always involved in ways that lead to efficient scoring. That blend of shooting, playmaking, and security with the ball puts him in a rare spot. Not many players manage to combine all three without overreaching or turning into high-volume, high-risk players. Pritchard's threading that needle perfectly. He's not a high-usage guy taking 30 shots a game, but he's making the most of every touch. That usage rate at 21% is perfect for his role. He's not being asked to carry the entire offense, but he's thriving as a connector and a finisher. The scoring split between 2s and 3s also shows he's versatile. 3.6 2s and 2.6 3s per game isn't just balanced, it's unpredictable. Defenders can't shade him one direction or cheat on the screen. He can hit from anywhere. The scoring, assists, shooting efficiency, and low turnover rate all work together to paint a clear picture. This is a player who helps the offense run, doesn't get in the way, and doesn't give the ball to the other team. And in a league where mistakes get punished fast, that kind of precision matters. It's not about highlight plays or stat chasing. Pritchard's game is about value per possession. Every time he's out there, he's finding a way to move the offense forward, whether it's by hitting the shot, making the extra pass, or just spacing the floor and forcing the defense to react. He's the kind of player that makes everyone else's job easier. He's creating space for others, drawing attention just enough to shift defenders, and still putting up almost 17 points a night. That's production that fits into any lineup, any rotation, and any playoff game. Even when he's not shooting lights out, he's still giving the team value through playmaking and spacing. When he is hot, though, it turns the offense into a different beast entirely. There's no flashy volume scoring, but there's absolutely no waste. No sloppy turnovers, no inefficient shots, just steady, efficient, smart offense that helps the team win. Pritchard's season has been a quiet storm of production. His numbers aren't inflated by garbage time or empty minutes. His impact is measured, reliable, and efficient, and he's doing it all while keeping the team on the right side of the scoreboard in nearly 60% of games. This isn't just a nice stretch, it's a model of how to maximize a role with elite-level decision-making and efficiency. Pritchard's been more than solid. He's been essential. But then we got to talk about Simons. Anthony Simons has been one of the most efficient and quietly impactful players this season. He's averaging 13.2 points per game, which puts him ahead of 74% of players. That might not sound like headline-grabbing production, but when you dive into the numbers, it's clear how valuable his role has been. His effective field goal percentage sits at 54%. That's factoring in the added value of threes. And for a guard taking both perimeter and inside shots, that's a sign of clean shot selection and confident execution. He's knocking down 2.22 pointers and 2.4 threes per game out of only 10.8 shot attempts. That kind of balance is rare. He's scoring 1.1 points per field goal, which puts him in a sweet spot where volume isn't sacrificed for efficiency. And when you fold in his free throws, his true shooting percentage rises to 57.2%. That number puts him ahead of more than 90% of players in scoring efficiency. That's not just solid, it's elite. He's getting to the line 1.7 times per game, and while that's not a huge number, it's enough to round out his scoring without slowing the offense. He's making the most out of every attempt. His points per scoring attempt also hit 1.1, which tells the same story. Smart decisions, clean finishes, and very little waste. Now look at his offensive rating, 123.3. That's about as efficient as it gets. When he's on the court, the offense is humming, spacing is strong, and scoring opportunities open up. He's playing within the system and making things happen. Defensively, his rating is 114.9. Not elite, but manageable. And it doesn't drag down the team's overall numbers. When you put it all together, his net rating is plus 8.4. That puts him in a small group of players making that kind of impact every time they step on the floor. He's been a part of lineups that win. His games with a positive plus-minus sit at 58.8%. That means in almost 6 out of every 10 games he plays, his team's coming out ahead when he's on the floor. That's not random. That's a pattern. The on-off numbers confirm it. When Simons is on the court, his team's point differential goes up by 2.6 compared to when he's off. That's better than 71% of players in the league. That shows he's more than just a contributor. He's helping drive winning minutes. His ball handling rating ranks him in the 71st percentile. He's not out there dribbling through traffic just to show off, but when it's time to handle pressure, initiate offense, or navigate a screen, he's comfortable and clean. He's averaging 2.4 assists per game. And while that doesn't put him among the top playmakers, it's still more than 60% of players. His assist percentage sits at 14.52%, meaning he's assisting nearly 15% of his teammates' made baskets when he's on the floor. He's not leading the league in dimes, but he's creating where it counts. He's assisting 6.2 points per game, and while that's less than 82% of players, the turnover numbers put it all into perspective. Just 1 turnover per game. That's it. And his turnover percentage, only 8%. So out of every 100 plays, he finishes with a shot, a free throw, or an assist. Only 8 end in a turnover. That's cleaner than most players in the league, and it puts him ahead of more than 78% in scoring attempts versus mistakes. His usage rate is 22.5%. That's a good chunk of the offense, especially when you remember he's not the first option. He's finishing more than 1 out of every 5 possessions with a scoring action, assist, or turnover. That kind of volume, paired with his efficiency, makes him one of the most effective secondary creators around. He's playing about 48 possessions per game. That's not a high total compared to starters playing heavy minutes, but he's making every one of those possessions count. 10.8 shots, 1.7 free throws, 2.4 assists, and only 1 turnover. Everything is tight, measured, and valued. Simons isn't racking up stats in garbage, time, or taking wild shots to pad the box score. He's maximizing limited possessions, creating high-quality offense, and giving the team a reliable scoring threat. The shooting mix between 2s and 3s also makes him hard to guard. 2.22s, 2.43. It's an even balance that forces defenders to respect every part of the floor. He's not stuck in one gear. He can pull up, drive, spot up, or move off the ball. He's also spacing the floor without needing the ball in his hands every possession. That opens up room for others. And even when he's not scoring or assisting, his presence alone helps stretch defenses. His value is in the consistency. He's not turning the ball over. He's taking good shots. And he's making them. He's giving his team more points than expected, almost every night, without hurting the flow or slowing the pace. The net rating backs it all up, plus 8.4. That's not just a blip, that's top-end impact. His presence raises the floor of every unit he plays with, and the coaching staff can trust him to produce with or without the stars on the court. Simon's role doesn't need flash, it needs polish, and that's exactly what he's delivering. He's not making risky plays. He's making smart ones. His game isn't loud, but the numbers are. 13.2 points on 10.8 shots, 2.4 assists with just 1 turnover, 57.2 true shooting percentage, plus 2.6 on-off impact. These numbers don't lie. They add up to a player that brings reliable, efficient, and winning basketball every time out. He's not dominating the headline, but he's dominating the margins. And in a league where games are often decided by a few possessions, that might be the most valuable thing a player can do. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll be posting every day. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.